Feet together and bow. Here we go. All right, shake your hands. Just shaking it, shaking it. Circle your arms. And circle the other way. And give yourself hugs. Nice. Rotate your back. Figure eights. Nice hips, making circles. And circles the other way. Feet, knees. All right, and feet. And on the other side. Stretch your toes. And side of your foot. And your other foot. Nice, feet apart. Not too wide, stretch down. Good, come on back up again. Stretch to one leg. And back up and to the other leg. And to both legs. Good, turn, stretch. And turn and stretch the other way. Go ahead and lean over one side. And lean over on the other side. Very nice. Go ahead and take a seat. And stretch forward. And stretch to one of your knees. And to the other knee. Nice, go ahead and switch feet. Stretch forward. Good, stretch to one of your knees. And to the other knee. Good, go ahead and put your feet together. And bounce it. And stretch forward. Nice, one leg in, one leg out. Stretch. Leg on top. Yeah. Bounce it. And stretch forward. Switching sides. Stretch. Good, leg on top. Bounce it. And stretch forward. Very nice. Just sit in half lotus. Stretch your fingers. And then stretch your wrist down. And then on the other side. Pull back on your fingers. And on the other side. So look at your palm, grab your thumb, rotate away. Look at your palm, grab your thumb, rotate away. Very nice. So our Tabatas today, again, 4 exercises. First thing we're going to do is alternating front knee. So you're just going to do front knee, switch legs, front knee, switch legs, front knee. Okay. Next one, we're going to do push-ups, sit-ups, and squats in sets of 10. So 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups, 10 squats. Make sure you're bending your knees on your squats, not bending your back, all right? Next one is a touching front kick. So I'm going to start static. I'm going to reach back, touch, front kick. Switch legs, touch, front kick. Okay? So it's just touch, front kick, touch, front kick, touch, front kick. Okay? Last one we're going to do is break dance. So I'm going to be in a downward dog. I'm just going to throw a leg across, across, across. Not worried about moving across the room or anything. Just working basically core side to side, right? So that's our Tabata today. I don't have my fancy timer with us, so I'll be using my less fancy timer. And we'll get started in about 15 seconds with these. Remember, go easy. Don't worry about trying to smash through all this stuff. You can always go faster as you get better at it. So just head in. So you're trying to project your knee forward in this drill. And it looks like this workout is favored by the god of lightning again. Nice, so we got 20 seconds rest, then 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups, 10 squats, as many times as you can do it. Remember to finish the set you're on, depending on where you are. Nice, 20 seconds rest. Now we're just doing touches, followed by front kick. They don't have to be very high. I'm trying to do waist height generally. Perfectly fine. I think we're still going. Just got a call in the middle of it, sorry. Feels like more than 20, 30 seconds, whatever. Nice work. All right, moving on to just resting and then followed by break dancing. Okay? All right, go ahead and get beginning. Get started. We're just going side to side. Opposite leg and shoulder on the ground or a hand on the shoulder. Excuse me, hand and foot. Good, take a rest. Next thing we got is knees. Here we go. About 10 seconds left. All right, go ahead and stop. Next thing we got, push-ups, sit-ups, and squats. Here we go, 3 seconds. And go. All right, that's a stop, so just finish where you are. Now we're doing touch and front kicks. And go. Nice, go ahead and stop. Last round is break dance. Five seconds. And go. All right, go ahead and stop. Nice work. All right, so just beginning at the beginning. In other words, fighting stance. All right, so fighting stance. You got a 90 degrees between your feet, so they make the letter L. Knees are bent. One hand's over your belly button. One hand is in front of you. It's not above your head. Generally, it's even with your eye line. Okay, so that's fighting stance. Okay, the key here is nice bent knees, making sure my hips turned out, and then I get a solid position. Okay, so again, that's fighting stance. Okay, just switching sides, fighting stance on the other side. Okay, looking towards you, fighting stance. So again, hip is turned just slightly out. One hand is in front, one hand's over your belly button. Okay, and that is fighting stance. Okay. Next is switch. We got two switches. One is foot forward, foot back, foot forward, foot back. Okay, so I bring my back foot to my front foot and push my front foot back to my back foot. So just switching stance. Okay, so that's one. The other one is a jump switch. So why don't we just do 10 jump switches? Here we go. Ready? Good, and let's do 10 slide switches. Very nice. Okay. So the next technique we're working is a short turn. So on a short turn, I'm going to pivot on the balls of my feet. So I'm just pivoting on the balls of my feet and rotating 180 degrees. Okay. So I generally bring my hands in, bring the one that's in front out. Okay. So you notice the one in front always ends up on the outside. Okay. Short turn. All right, let's just knock out 10 short turns pretty quick. Very nice. So the next technique we're doing, not surprisingly, long turn. So I'm taking my front leg, I'm sliding it to my back leg, and basically making it my front leg behind me. So again, slide, boom, long turn. Okay? Let's go ahead and knock out 10 of those things. Very nice. So that's switch, short turn, and long turn. Okay? Always good to practice those things and make them perfectly clean and pure, ending in a fighting stance on each one. So if you notice, I'm standing on a line, and it doesn't matter the kind of turn. If I'm doing a long turn, I still just end up on that line. Okay? So I'm not shifting front to back at all. When I do a short turn, because I'm pivoting on my heels, I just stay on that line. Okay? So again, just always kind of keeping, if you will, depth the same all the time. All right? Next thing we're doing is an inside body movement. There are kind of two components to it. So I'm going to step forward and then slide my other leg around, ending out at 45 degrees from the direction I was facing. Okay? And I generally end up in a fighting stance. Okay? Part two, I move back to the middle. I then step out with my left leg, slide around. Okay? So again, square, step forward, slide around, go to the middle, step forward, slide around. Okay? And that's two outside body movements. Okay? So again, we're not doing any blocks or anything. We're just going to do it 5 times on a side. Just go ahead and begin. So. Very nicely done. Next one is outside body movement. So for outside body movement, I'm going to take my right leg, I'm going to slide back and bring my left leg to it. Okay? So I pull my legs back. So I'm no longer on the line, it's a retreating step. Okay? And I end up in a good fighting stance. Okay? Then I go back to the center, slide back, pull my leg with it. Okay? So a common mistake or challenge here is some people slide back and lean back when they're done. Okay? There's no lean back, it's just center stance, right? Just 5 times on a side. Here we go. Nicely done. All right, so that is inside and outside body movement. Now we're going to go side to side. Okay? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to step away with one leg and bring my other leg to it. Okay? Then I move back to center, and I step out and bring my other leg to it. Now the important part here is here I'm in the center. When I step, I end very much away from that center. So I'm not I'm moving out of the way of something coming at me. Right? So we're just going to do it, again, just 5 times on a side. Go for it. So as you can hear, I slide my feet all the time. Anytime I'm moving in a body movement, my feet are sliding on the ground. Okay? Any body movement I do, I'm sliding my feet. And that's just to take care of any uneven surface. I don't want to put my foot down, boom, and lose my balance backwards. And also, anytime you put your foot down, boom, that's a good time to take out the front leg, because you know the ground basically going to have balance shifts. So again, just always slide your feet. Okay? So the next technique we're doing is cross step and turn. Okay? So I'm going to take my right leg, I'm going to step across my body. Okay? Then I'm going to bring my left leg all the way around the circle and end end up facing where I started, right? And again on the other side, so I step across, 1, slide around, 2, okay? So again, just 5 on the side, cross, step, and turn. Here we go. So an important point about stances in Hapkido, okay? We generally are always in a neutral stance. We're not leaning back, we're not leaning forward, we're not bending over, we're not bending back, okay? So you're trying to be neutral. So if you draw a line between your heels, the center of that line should be where the center of your body is, okay? And that's kind of a neutral stance. Again, not leaning back, not leaning forward, not having a leg off the ground or anything like that. So next thing we're going to work on is punches, okay? So kind of one of the keys is for our punch, our knuckles are curled in and our thumb is on the outside of our hand, okay? Not on top, not inside, not sticking up, okay? On the outside of our hand. And we punch vertically, okay? So I don't punch horizontally to begin with, okay? We punch vertically, okay? That's mostly to protect our forearm and our wrist, okay? And a front punch is this punch that comes off your front hand. So I'm just going to form and punch off your front hand, okay? Kind of looks like just boom, okay? There's no pull back to punch forward. It just punches, okay? It's generally referred to as a jab in standard boxing lingo, right? So we're just going to do 10 off front hand, then switch feet, and then 10 off the other hand, okay? Go for it. And the important thing while you're punching, never overextend your elbow. So my elbow always extends to about 5 degrees off of full. All right, reverse punch, okay? A martial arts staple. So it comes off my backhand here. It basically just rotates in. Now, a lot of debate on whether or not I turn my hip over or not. You can obviously engage your core on this one, okay, where I punch, boom, core. What I don't want to do is overextend my shoulder, okay? So that's a common mistake. So again, when I'm punching off of core. Now, you can rotate your fully. I tend not to just because I've got enough arm mass that it doesn't make that big a difference in my power, okay? So again, we're going to do 10 reverse punches off each side, all right? Go for it. Cool. Now just as a drill, we're going to do front, reverse, switch. Okay? We're going to do jump switches. We're going to do it 5 times on a side. Just go ahead and begin. Here we go. Nice. Okay. Nice. All right, so moving on to our next strike is a hook punch. Generally, they're done off the front hand, but there's no requirement to do them off the front hand. I basically make a fist and circle in front of me. So I tend to make a fist and punch. And I'm punching almost back into my chest. You can punch across. Either one works just fine, okay? So I tend to bring it like more like a stick strike and less like a I'm wandering over there, okay? So we're just going to do, again, 10 hook punches off the front hand, all right? Make sure your elbow is behind your punch. when I'm doing a static hook punch like this, sure you notice when I pull it, I just pull it back just a little bit to make sure I'm cocking up my pectoralis major and my core to hit, okay? So I don't just, boom, okay? There's better strikes for that. So I'm going to just pull it back just a little bit and punch. Generally, I'm going to do a hook punch either off the backhand to get lots of power or as a secondary strike where I've already started to retract my arm. So that is hook punch, okay? Next one we're doing, uppercut. So uppercut is delivered generally all again off the backhand as opposed to the front hand. I'm going to dig deep, punch up, okay? Common mistake here is either just punching up or not going high enough. A lot of people stop here, okay? I just want to dig deep and punch off the top of my head, okay? So just again doing just 10 on the side, getting used to it. Here we go. Turn that hip in. Nicely done. All right, now we're going to add hook and uppercut together with a switch. Okay, so I'm going to hook, uppercut. Okay, now I don't have to pull my hook punch back to neutral to start my uppercut. I generally start my uppercut at the end of my hook, okay, because my body is rotating enough to drive the secondary punch. Right, so just 10 total, switching in between. Here we go. And if you can, try and smile when you're hitting. Nice work. All right, just take a second, get a drink of water. We'll come back in a sec, all right? All right, so moving on, we're going to do front kick now, front kick, okay? So front kick, as we did a second ago, is our Tabata. Generally comes off, generally the way we're going to do now is off the back leg. So it's knee first, kick second, okay? So it is not a rising kick, okay? So knee, then kick, return to knee, then back, okay? So traditionally, we want to see that 3-position go, okay? When you go at speed, you'll see that that third position is generally sometimes a retraction back to where it started, okay? Now at higher rank, it can be double kicks, it can be fancy kicks, but we're generally always rechambering it to bring it back, okay? So a couple simple things in this. Number one, you don't have to kick super high, okay? Your knee dictates the height of your kick. So if I'm low, it means my kick is going to be straight off my knee, okay? If I want to kick higher, my knee is higher, I can kick higher, okay? But again, flexibility is one of the things you got to work over time. It is not something you're going to get by tearing up your muscles, okay? So we're going to do 10 front kicks off of a side. All right, so 10 on one side, then switch, 10 on the other side. All right, go for it. Really focus on your balance on these. I'm not projecting my balance forward. I'm just saying centered over my base leg. So kind of one of the important things when you're throwing your kick, what do you do with your hands? Well, you got two choices. You have obviously infinite choices, but two that we recommend. Number one, I bring them up into parallel hands and kick because they stay out of my way. Okay? So that's kind of option one. Okay? What I kind of consider like first person game, right? So your hands are always in front of you. Okay? And option two, I just move my elbow out just a little bit so my thigh can come through. So it doesn't matter how high a kick I throw, I'm just going to throw my elbow out a little bit to make room for my knee to come up through the middle. Those are generally the two choices. As you get into more combative stuff, sometimes you'll see the front hand drop to protect your groin and stuff that's more advanced. Again, in the end, it's going to be your personal choice. What you don't want to do is have those arms go out, okay? So very common in some of the harder styles to see those arms go out because punches to the head are illegal. So they're trying to get speed by throwing their arms out. In here, there's no illegal techniques as we are doing self-defense. All right, so next technique we're doing is a back kick, all right? So again, I like back kick because it generates lots of power. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up my front leg and tuck it to my backside, okay? And then push straight back, okay? Now there again, a couple philosophies. Some people look first, but I don't like to telegraph. I just assume my peripheral vision is good enough to know that I'm going to be kicking somebody straight back. Now your end foot position is your choice. I tend to do vertical or hybrid. You can definitely take it out to the side, okay, where it turns over. What you don't want to do is see that hip go out to the side, okay? So when it looks like coming straight in, so a back kick should be straight back, okay? It shouldn't have any of that side hip component to it, okay? It is this dig punch, okay? So we're hitting with a heel generally on this kick. So we're going to do it off our front leg. Let's just knock out 10. Here we go. So an important note whenever you're doing strikes or kicks and you're hitting a lot of air as you do during quarantine or pandemic type of times, I don't finish my technique completely. So when I'm punching, I don't lock my arm out. I just punch to start bringing it back. Okay? It looks like a shorter punch because it is. I'm not hitting anything. Okay? And I want to make sure I don't hurt myself. On my kick, same thing. I don't hyperextend my knee. Actually, if you can tell, it just goes just before it goes straight. Okay? So I'm not using my knee as a brake. And back kick, same thing. When I throw a back kick, I'm just kicking straight back. Not ever getting full extension because you're just kicking air. Okay? When you start to kick things or objects or people, you can kind of get away with more. All right, so now we're working on hand techniques. Now these are super tough to do by yourself, okay? Just because you don't have a partner. Normally you'd be simulating or having somebody grab your wrist when you're doing these, okay? But you don't have that. So these are generally right to left, so straight. We're not grabbing across, we're grabbing straight ahead, and those are the ones we're working, okay? So the first one I'm going to do is what we call a simple wrist, okay? So remember that stretch we did a second ago where we grabbed the back of our wrist and stretch? That's the technique you're doing, okay? Now when I'm practicing without anybody there, I do it very specifically. So in this case, we're going to do an inside body movement to a simple wrist, okay? Outside body movement to a simple wrist, okay? So I'm going to basically step back, flipping my hand over. So step back, and I get the technique right there. So they're grabbing right here. I'm just flipping their hand over into my other hand, okay? And then I grab it and step back, okay? So again, that's the technique, okay? Doesn't look like much until somebody's grabbing you and you can work that rotation over, okay? But I'm just grabbing the back of my wrist as I do an outside body movement. So just try it 5 times on the side. Just grab your wrist. Main thing here is getting a good outside body movement. And something I promised for next week, I'll re-record or basically record these again, and I'll have Mr. Hung grab me so I can put him into all kinds of joint lock during these things when he's in the facility, all right? So that's basically simple wrist. Next one, cutting wrist, okay? So in this case, again, they're grabbed here. I'm going to grab over their hand, okay? I'm going to step forward and end up in an inside body movement, okay? So again, grab over, step, boom, okay? So you want to clamp it and rotate, okay? And I tend to make my other wrist have that kind of motion. Okay, so I know which way I'm going, okay, that I'm doing a cutting wrist lock. Again, just 5 times. Nice. So the key on these, just go slow. You know, if you can work them with somebody, that's great. But in this case, when we're working it kind of solo, just making sure we're grabbing, getting the technique to flow, and making sure our body movement's part of it. So if you notice, it's not step, step, then joint lock. I tend to grab, which initiates the joint lock, and then step. Okay? So just make sure you're kind of getting in the right order. As you get better at it, it kind of flows together where the grab and the motion happen at the same time. All right? So the next one we're working is armbar. This is the first joint lock I ever learned as a student, and it works very simply. So again, I'm going to do an inside body movement, and I'm going to do the first part, which is swatting a fly in front of my head. So they're grabbing this wrist. I'm just kind of going around right there. Okay? And that allows me to re-grab their arm. Okay? So I'm just re-grabbing their arm. Okay? That's the inside body movement part. And now I'm going to pass it off to my back arm. So it's 1, 2, pass off. This hand now is free to do the arm bar in front of you. Okay? So again, working one more time. So swat the fly, re-grab, arm bar. Okay? Just 5 times on a side. So again, swat the fly, re-grab, arm bar. And you can practice this. Somebody grabs, you just go grab them, change up, arm bar. Okay? Make sure you're pulling them towards you at the end. Okay? So here, swat, pull, arm bars in front. And again, this is where a partner helps, but again, you can just work the body movement and the arm position so you can get super strong and fast. Sometimes a partner gets in the way because you can't go fast enough and you tend to break them in the middle, which is not good for anybody. Okay? All right, so the next technique we're doing is rolling shoulder. Okay? So the body movement in this is just a step forward, rolling shoulder. So I'm stepping forward, again, stepping forward on the other side. So what I'm going to do, they're grabbed here. I'm going to basically rotate up and grab their wrist. Okay? So their arm's going straight up, just like this. Okay? I'm going straight up. Okay? So I'm going straight up. My other arm loops underneath, and I grab myself, and I pull all that in. Okay? So again, straight up, grab underneath, go. Okay? And I'll do it to the side for you. So straight up, grab underneath their elbow, boom. Okay? So this hand's grabbing their wrist, this hand's underneath their elbow, and that all just comes back to you. Okay? So again, 5 times. Okay? Grab the wrist. Nice. All right, now we're going to head rotation. Okay, one of my favorites. Okay, so in this case, we're going to step forward just like we did a second ago, and my hand's going to go and T-rex their arm. So if they're grabbing like this, it's just going to go up against their body. That's kind of the key here. It's going straight up. Okay, T-rex their arm. I'm going to grab the back of their head. The other free hand's grabbing their chin. Okay, I'm going to pull them down to my shoulder. Step back, throw right there. Okay, so again, I shoot up. I pull down, cupping both sides of the head, step back, throw. Okay? Go for it. Notice the body movement. So I'm stepping forward, and then I'm stepping back out of my way to dump them where I was standing. last subject area is falls. Okay, working our beginner or white belt falls. Okay, the keys on this one: make sure you got something you can fall on. Okay, we're going to do all very kneeling falls. I'm already on a suspended mat, which allows me to take a lot more force than a lot of people in kind of not the similar situation. So front fall. Okay, the key on a front fall is I want my arms in a triangle when I'm hitting the ground. Okay, so I'm going to kneel. I want my body straight. Don't bend over. Okay, body straight. I'm going to bring my arms around and hit the ground. Okay, so it looked like this. I'm just going to come around and hit the ground. Okay, now if you notice, I slide forward a little bit at the end. So here I'm coming around, sliding forward. Now, make sure you got a pad you can work it on and just work it 5 times. Try not to bend your hips so much and come forward. Okay. So if you notice at the end, my arms are basically working as shock absorbers, extending the amount of time I'm absorbing that fall or that force. Okay, that's very important. Next technique we're working, back fall. Okay, now my warning on back fall is you can hit your head very easily on a back fall. So you got to make sure you tuck your chin on your chest and it stays there. Okay, so the way we set up a back fall, again, we're going to squat. Okay, knees in. I'm going to roll down on my butt, just roll down, head up, feet up. Okay, so that's kind of the key. Head stays up, looking down at my legs, feet are on the ceiling, both hands slap. Okay, so again, do it all together 5 times. So I'm here, tuck my head, feet up. Okay. Go for it. Okay, these are very easy once you learn to tuck your head. So a very important kind of pro tip on this one, don't bend your knees. Okay, I let my knees be perfectly straight, feet on the ceiling. This stops me from over rotating and make sure I never hit myself in the face with a knee when I got more power. So again, this position's tough to do if you don't have good core strength yet, but you can definitely get there. Okay, and make sure you're not whiplashing your neck at all. Stick your neck on their chest so there's no whiplash in it. All right. Last technique we're working today, side fall, okay, from a squatting position. So again, I'm squatting, okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take one leg and put it in front of me, okay. Here, I'm just going to fall up that leg. One hand slaps near my knee, the other hand I put on my chest. Only one side of my leg's on the ground, one butt cheek's on the ground, and one shoulder's on the ground. Nothing else is touching, okay. And my slap is a good, clean, flat hand slap, all right. So we're just going to do it 3 times on a side. All right, so squat. Again, leg out. Tuck your head on the uphill side so you don't hurt yourself. Now here's a pro tip for you. Okay? I always put my hand on my chest or I start in both hands on chest. Number 2, this knee is never touching the ground, but this side of my foot always is touching the ground. And on my other leg is definitely foot down. I see a lot of people do these with leg up. Don't want leg up, foot down. And there's a clear separation between my legs. I don't want to come over any because that tends to make your knees clap together. So again, as I come down, this knee is floating using the edge of my foot and the bottom of my foot. That's a good prep for the more advanced techniques, okay? Whether they be flips, rolls, or otherwise. And I've done a lot of side falls or flips on the concrete. And this protects you because you're using the bottom of your shoe and the edge of your shoe, and you never whack your knee on the ground, okay? See, a lot of people just kind of slap their leg down. I don't want my leg to slap down. I want to use my edge, okay? Hand slap, not a mile up, but by my knee. Other hand's on my chest, staying safe, okay? And always keep my head up, okay? So go ahead and stand up. Put your feet together. And we just bow. Nice work today, guys.